Please remain standing for all the men and women overseas and our first responders who put their lives out there for us, especially through these days. Thank you. All the cell phones on vibrate mode. You need to take a phone call out of the room. Give courtesy to the people that are speaking when they are speaking. If I see somebody that's not following the rule, I'll bring it to their attention. Thank you.
I'm sure you will.
Thank you, Farrell. All right, so let's move into, I don't think the precinct's here yet. They were notified, they did ask me if the meeting was still happening tonight, so maybe they'll show up. Let's move into the gallery session.
Could you do this when I go up?
Unless you know how to work their system, yeah, but we're recording it, and please, if you're gonna speak, and you want your voice recorded from the meeting, I need you to speak into the microphone. Okay? So we are gonna move into the gallery session. So you have 2 minutes. So I will call your name. You'll come up to the microphone here. Please look at and address the board at all times. At most, you can respond to at most 2 questions or comments. At most. All right?
You got a 30-second note.
And then Frano here is the timekeeper. At a minute 30 seconds, he'll raise the 30-second thing. And after that, he'll bang the gavel and we'll cut you off. All right, so we will, Mia Weissman, about a resolution the board voted on, or will be voting on.
Good evening. Board members, all, thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of the regional advocacy on the Port Authority to widen the bike path on the George Washington Bridge. You have extended remarks. There are more copies on the table. But over the next 7 years, the Port Authority is going to rip out and restore the overcrowded 7-foot path on the George Washington Bridge as part of a $2 billion restoration. Now, the George is the sole bikeable connection between New York and North Jersey, and unless the paths are wide and comply with national standards, the George will become a walk-your-bike facility. This will hobble the growth of cycling across the region for generations. Conversely, if they widen them, that will spur plans to build out capacity across the Harlem River bridges and on bikeways across the Bronx. This will reduce congestion and overcrowding on mass transit. It will expand resident access to employment and education while saving them thousands of dollars a year versus commuting by car or train. It will extend access to green space and encourage people to exercise. When the new Tappan Zee opens, that will create a 40-mile loop drawing cyclists from across the region past Bronx restaurants. CB11 already intersects the East Coast Greenway, the Bronx River Bike Path, and links to the South County Trailway. If we lose the Hudson, please. All right. If we lose the Hudson rail tunnels, that's going to strand 200,000 New Jersey commuters, and a lot of New York business are going to be looking at Bronx commercial zones because you're closer to the George. Now, right now, there are 240 organizations, businesses, and communities that are in support of this, including 7 community boards in the Bronx. And I'm asking support of this community board as well.
Okay. Thank you, Neil. Unless there's any questions, thank you. So, yeah, when you speak, if you have to adjust the mic before you start speaking, please do so. Try again. Speaking to the mic. So, at my request, we have Thomas Alexander from the DGC. He's the liaison for the Pelham Parkway project. So if you don't know who he is, please get familiar with him. Please take down his contact info. I can give it to you. Go ahead, Thomas.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Alexander. I'm the Community Construction Liaison for the Pelham Parkway Reconstruction Phase 2 project. It's currently active in the main road of Pelham Parkway right now. The project is was slated to run from 2017 to 2021. That may be extended a little bit longer to 2022. The project didn't start exactly on time. Where we are right now is we've done water main installation on the main road. We're currently doing sewer installation as well, or should I say, highway drain installation on the main road. Highway drain is different than the sewer, in that it's an iron pipe rather than clay pipe, and it's just to catch rainwater runoff. So it's a little different than a sanitary sewer. The work in the main road will be completed in its entirety before moving to the North Service Road. The North Service Road work will include a trunk water main installation. This is very important. This is probably going to be the most intrusive part of this project, in that the trunk water main is a 48-inch water main, meaning it's a 4-foot around pipe, which will need a very large excavation in order to be installed within the North Service Road. So the impacts that can be expected with the trunk water main installation, which, just so you're clear on what we're talking about, the trunk water main installation will begin on Boston Road, approximately between the westbound main road of Pelham Parkway and the North Service Road. It'll go north on Boston Road and bang a right and go down the North Service Road. So this pipe, the installation of this pipe will require a very large excavation. There will be no parking in certain sections. There will be certainly street closures and or detours, and driveway access would be impacted. My role as a community liaison is to coordinate with the community to let everybody know what's happening and when.
Thank you, Thomas.
Nope.
We have one question, Don Chiano, and then Marcy Gross.
Yeah, Stillwell Avenue.
Yes, sir.
When are they gonna move the bus stop from the east side to the west side of that intersection? That's a disaster.
That will actually not happen until the end of the main road reconstruction.
Why?
So that, because moving that bus stop at this point in time would not be feasible because of the fact that the roadway work is still happening, and it won't happen until final restoration. So there's gonna be a lot more activity that will involve more excavations, additional digging, in the area. So that's final restoration work that's gonna occur. There would be no reason, it really wouldn't be wise to move that bus stop now when we'd have to just go there and do more construction and continue digging in that section. So that would be part of the final restoration of that area.
So, Marcy?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you today? Good to see you
Talk
again.
My question is, these water mains.
Yes.
I had mine replaced, I know from the private homes, they go right into the middle of the street, and they go into the main sewer line, right? So what is the effect of digging like this? We're gonna eventually, and I know this to be true,
Right.
get a lot of that backflow into the house. I already experienced that.
Okay, let me be clear about this water main installation as far as the trunk water main. The trunk water main is not a distribution water main. The distribution main brings water right to your house. The trunk water main brings water from the water tunnel that come from upstate. The trunk water mains distribute water to the distribution main. So when we install the trunk water main, it won't be necessary, unlike distribution mains where we shut off water every day to lay pipe, and then this will be different in terms of the trunk water main. When they shut down that main, we'll have another backfeed of water that will come in to bring water to home. So it won't be the same procedure in terms of how water shutoffs are done. So this is not to say that there won't be some effect in terms of water pressure or maybe some a discoloration of water. I couldn't promise that. But in terms of how they're going to do the trunk water main installation, it won't be the same as when they do distribution, which would involve cutting off water daily. It's not going to be done in that fashion.
No backflow during water.
It should not be the same as when we do distribution water mains that go right to the house. That's correct. What I want to make clear though is the trunk water main will run from White Plains Road to Williamsbridge Road. After Williamsbridge Road, really I should say Eastchester. After Eastchester Road to Stillwell, it will be distribution, regular, smaller water mains. So the trunk water main runs from White Plains Road to Eastchester Road. So it's a long stretch.
Okay, great. So I have two questions, unless the board decides otherwise.
I think it should be decided otherwise.
Then you should make a motion.
I make a motion that I keep more than.
Can you speak to the mic? Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, hold on.
The tape recorder will not pick up your voice if you don't speak in the mic.
I make a motion
that dealing with this issue, more than 2 questions should be allowed.
Thank you. Second by Joe Menza. Any discussion?
How much question?
As many as we need.
There you go.
How about
Okay.
that?
I think we have to limit it, how much?
You wanna say 5 more?
Fran, you wanna say something?
I think we need to put a time limit, otherwise we'll be here till tomorrow morning.
Oh,
It should be here till tomorrow morning.
exactly.
So,
Another 3 more, that's it.
what are you proposing, Sandy, since it's your
Guys, how about 6?
No.
5.
Six
5.
what?
There are a lot of people
Questions?
who live on the north side.
We're talking about questions or minutes? 5 questions, okay? Anyone opposed to that? So, okay, all in favor? Any against? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes, carries. Joe Menza.
Thomas, thank you very much for your communication, I appreciate it, we get them all. I'd say for the most part, just more comments than questions, but, the traffic, I know, we anticipated the worst.
Right.
It could be better, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, I just wanna let you know that, I know it could be worse, I travel every single day.
Okay.
I wanna mention to our elected officials and our leaders in the community, Gene, Dylan, Natalia, I don't know if you're here, Joe, McManus, we're coming onto the north side. That's where all the trees that we're talking about are gonna start coming down. And we want to advocate to prevent these trees from coming down. These are big, majestic trees that have to come down for this big 48-inch water main that we're talking about. So we wanna advocate to prevent as many of these trees as coming down. Alexander's aware of it, Thomas, I'm sorry, is aware of it. Ahmed and everybody else that we're dealing with, but we just need to be mindful of that because it's coming.
You wanna respond to that?
Yeah, just, we have been working with, we have a technical working group that has been formulated specifically to address tree removals. We did take some lessons from the first phase in terms of how we're gonna go about, removing trees. So there is no tree, at this point, there is no tree that is going to be removed before there is a consultation with the technical working group, which does comprise membership of from the community, from our project, from the Parks Department. We all pretty much will discuss those trees, and every technical alternative will be discussed before a tree needs to be removed for engineering reasons. It should be mentioned that a lot of these pipes that are there, we're going to follow the path that already exists. So some of these pipes are up to 80 years old. So some trees have been allowed to grow over pipes that have been there for quite some time. So there are some large trees that may be impacted. But again, we are going to work very closely with the community to try and mitigate tree removals as much as possible. And we've been doing that.
Al?
Was there a stipulation when you got the job to do the south side, that you repair the north side? The north side was a disaster. You guys did the north side.
South side.
The south side, the bus lanes there are craters in the bus lane.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, at this point, what I can tell you about that is that project was phase 1, separate contract, separate monies. This project specifically is to address the westbound main road and the North Service Road. Once that project was completed, technically it was handed over back to the city, and any issues with the roadway at this point would be a DOT issue at this point.
So the city then hired you to do the north side without any caveat that you fixed what you didn't do properly on the south side?
The contractor CAC did perform the work. The current contractor CAC did perform the work on the south side. And no, there was not a caveat built into this contract that stated that they needed to go and touch anything on phase 1. Again, separate contracts.
We understood that there was money in this contract to fix that problem on the south side. We were told that.
You were lied to.
I couldn't speak to that. What I've been told consistently is that that project is complete and over, and now that those roadways are now technically the property of the city and would be addressed. Those issues would be addressed by DOT.
Get Sandy, please.
Sandy, go ahead.
Before it's okay, and then I'll go.
Well, hold on here, no. I have an order here. I heard Tony, and unfortunately, before I heard Edith.
Edith was before me.
Okay, so then it's Sandy, Yahe, and Edith.
How many questions? That's one of five.
All right, they have started work on the north side, and they are taking people off the road, sending them down, Waring Avenue, etc. What is being done to avoid traffic accidents, such as having people there directing traffic, speed limits being posted, stop signs, etc.? There was already an accident this afternoon. So how can we alleviate those problems when you're sending people off the road and sending them down the street? Just say go down Waring Avenue or go down Mace Avenue.
When this project was designed and put on the books, part of what was done is designing a suitable detour plan, considering the fact that the work would be happening in the roadway. Waring Avenue and Astor Avenue were deemed to be suitable detour routes. In terms of what the contractor has done, they have put message boards out there instructing people to move over to those streets to avoid traffic backups. As is consistent with traffic, with construction projects of this nature. In terms of enforcing traffic, how traffic runs on those streets, this is a construction project. We don't necessarily deal with enforcing traffic laws on local roads adjacent to the project. What we do have, as part of our project, where we are working, we do have traffic agents assigned to us, up to 8 traffic agents per day assigned to help with traffic flow in and around our work zone. As far as traffic running up and down Waring and Astor Avenue, what I would say is that those would be enforcement issues for local traffic and or law enforcement agents.
Two things. Someone just told me that you were on video, I guess, maybe recently, saying that you were going to go back and fix the south side bus lanes.
I was?
Maybe. We'll check the video and we'll verify. I have a conference call with the DOT commissioner on Monday afternoon. And one of the issues I want to discuss is, now you're saying it's a DOT issue.
Mm-hmm.
How did it become a DOT issue if someone did not do a clean job to begin with? And I've said it before and I'll continue saying it again, and I'm going to follow up, and this is something that really, really bothers me. These contractors are scamming the city. It's our tax dollars. They do a crappy job just to go back and redo it again. And now it's a DOT issue, which means they have to redo it again. And I've listed at least a half dozen items that I'm going to discuss with the commissioner that a poor job was done. And that's not right.
Right, and I'm believing Navarro is aware of this issue. Basically, whenever there is a capital project of this nature and it's complete and it's signed off on by the city, which this project was, it was signed off and accepted by the city. Once it's signed off and accepted, it then turns over to be a regular street and under the possession of DOT like any other street in the city of New York. So I understand what you're saying. Everything that I've been told and understand about where we are at this point, that project was complete and signed off on. Regular protocols take place at this point, and that would be that it now is the possession of DOT, and it would be theirs to address, as I understand it.
Okay, question number 5. That's the last question. Edith Blitzer.
Hi, we were at the first meeting that you had held, and Mr. D'Angelo is right. We were told at that particular meeting that the south side would be fixed because the gutters, the streets are broken, concrete is ripped. The contractor that did our side of the south side did the crappiest job I've ever seen. Yet the city gave him the contract because he was the lowest bidder. There's something very wrong there. You give it to the lowest bidder that does work that is not up to par. So eventually the north side's gonna crack like the south side. And I don't understand, what has DOT got to do with the sidewalks and the concrete? He has to do with lights.
No, actually DOT does does own the street, sidewalk,
Really?
street lights, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, but I do agree with Al. It was said that very night at the meeting that the south side would be fixed.
Okay, what I would say is this, at this point is this, I would say that the board should bring that back up to DEC, bring it back up to our office.
It's the only thing
I'd be
they'll-
glad to accept an email from you guys, and then I'll forward it up the line. With respect to that, I'm not saying, I'm not disputing that that's what you guys understood. What I'm saying is that what I've been told is that that's not the case. So, what I would say then at this point, I would say package it up and send it over to our office, and then I would forward it to the powers that be at DEC for them to address, this issue.
Just, ready for this thing.
It's on.
In follow-up to her question, I sat in on a meeting. You're right about the city dropped the ball here. They signed off on that job. You're right about that.
Who signed it?
However, the price that was submitted for the new one, we were told that they were having money added on to, that's inclusive in the
Right.
price that they settled. That's what I was informed at a meeting. John Fratter was there, and I believe you were there too, that they were including that money on the new bid.
I had, since the project has started, I've been attending task force meetings. We do task force meetings every month. And this issue was brought up at a couple of task force meetings. And every time it was brought up at the task force meeting, the contention by DDC was what I had been saying, that the project was signed off on, and at this point, backing up to your point with respect to additional monies, I don't want to make it sound like I'm disputing what you're saying. I have a different understanding of it, and I would be more than happy to take these concerns back to them and let them address them if that's what the understanding of the board is.
Any further questions? Please take them on the side with Mr. Alexander. Thank you.
Real quick, on the table over here, I have a number of materials with respect to the project. Every month, every quarter, I do a newsletter that speaks about the project and the progress thus far. I also have project information cards that basically capsulize what we're doing on the project. My name, number, and email is on there. I would encourage you all who would like to be kept up abreast on the project to please email me. I can put you on my distribution list. I send out weekly bulletins that let you know where we are and where we're going to be working. That way you can plan your movements with respect to vehicular travel or even walking around in the project area. So I'd encourage you to reach out to me and get on my list for the project.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Okay. Number 3, Sean Breda, City Planning.
Again, my name is Sean Brady. I'm the Deputy Director for our Bronx office of the Department of City Planning. Thanks for giving me a minute to speak here tonight. I wanted to talk a little bit about an event we're having on Saturday, which is a public workshop for planning around the proposed Metro North Station on Tremont Avenue. So that's the Parkchester Van Ness Metro North Station. It's going to be this Saturday at 10 a.m. It's a kind of a self-paced open house, so you can show up anytime, but we suggest you get there around 10. It's going to last till 1, and really it's a good opportunity to come and plan for this proposed Metro North Station, which would provide new service, which the bottom line is it would get you into Penn Station in 20 minutes. We'll be back out here probably later in the fall towards the winter to talk about the proposed Morris Park Station, which would be where Morris Park runs into the rail tracks at Bassett Avenue. It's really important that everyone comes out, not just to come and to plan, but to show support to MTA and to the elected officials that this is really important for the community. So I just want to promote it again, invite your neighbors, come out, stop by for a little bit or stay the whole day. There'll be an opportunity to do interactive exercises and tell us what your thoughts are on the station so that these communities can really capitalize on this huge investment. So that's all.
I see Joe and then Al. Mike?
So from what I've been reading, right, the Amtrak, LIRR, whatever, is giving the MTA a hard time and wanting to stick it to them, right? They want them to pay for a lot of infrastructure, issues that the Metro North MTA feel that they're not even responsible for, and it's kind of getting political and a lot of very bureaucratic. So what do you think is the outcome going to be of this meeting? Because they need to settle their stuff first before anybody's going to go over there. And we're all proponents for this, but it sounds like these agencies need to get their stuff together.
Sure, and I'll just quickly say a couple things about that. Everyone's probably read some of the recent articles, and all of the elected officials in the Bronx have signed on in support of moving forward with this. And right now, MTA Metro North and Amtrak are discussing a number of negotiations along the line. And today it is Amtrak's rail line, and so in order to operate that, and that's a big one certainly. So we hope that something is worked out. The project, again, we're planning for the long term here, so we're going to continue doing that. But I do think that the more the community comes out to these meetings, the community voices to their elected officials how important this is to the community, the better of a chance it has to be worked out. And again, MTA Metro North will be at our meeting on Saturday, along with a number of other city agencies that we're partnering with, DOT, EDC, and a handful of others, and we're also partnering with the Borough President's Office. So this will be an opportunity to show everyone how important it is that it's moved forward and that these negotiations do get worked out.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Sean. Marcy?
Where?
So I did leave some flyers up front, but again, it's at 10 a.m. It's at St. Raymond's Elementary School on Tremont and Castle Hill there. And so again, take some flyers, have some information on the project and the flyers as well. So again, come out, please. Thanks.
Great. Number 4, Roger McCarson, PS 108 PTA.
Good evening. I was here just PS 108. We're hosting a Stop and Swap event, which is run by Grow NYC. It's pretty much a recycling event. Think of it almost like a garage sale, where you don't have no money is exchanged. Clean goods that it's coming up to the Christmas time, the holidays, toys that your kids don't want to play with anymore. As long as it's new to another kid, they'll play with it. And same as changing over the clothes, winter clothes that don't fit them anymore. You come out and exchange it instead of it end up in a landfill somewhere. So it's on November 17th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at PS 108. That's 1166 Neal Avenue.
Thank you very much, Roger. Lindsay, you have a question? Roger? Roger, hold on one second. Mike, please.
Hi, is that only children's club?
Oh no, this is only the second year that we did it. So last year was mostly just people in the school, and we didn't get promoted as much. So this is our second year doing it. But no, it's everything.
What was the dates again?
It's November 17th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
And household goods too. If you have like a tea set and have what's missing, and just about anything. Just like a garage sale, except no money is exchanged.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Roger. Grace Lavaglia, Neighborhood Advisory Board.
Good evening, everyone. I am representing the Neighborhood Advisory Board for the BYCD. I just wanted to let everyone know that we started our new year in October. We had our first meeting on the 22nd, and we really are going to be doing a lot more outreach. The Neighborhood Advisory Board members are people from the community, and we are the eyes and ears of the community. We know what are the needs of the community, what works, what doesn't work. Currently, there should be 12 people on the board. Currently, I believe we have about 9. We have 3 elected officials positions opening, one from Councilman Mark Jonai, who needs to appoint someone. We also need someone from the state senate, from the Senate, and also from Congress, and also, I believe Ruben Diaz, so that's 4. So we really need to have a full board, so if we can jump on that, please, would appreciate it. I've left some literature on the table. The first one is, this is how to apply, if anyone's interested in applying for a neighborhood advisory board. There are 12 positions, 6 are appointed by DYCD, 6 are appointed by elected officials. This will tell you what's required and how to apply. This other brochure tells you about the neighborhood development areas and what is the difference between the NDAs and NABs. And finally, this little booklet will show you all the what we fund, what's funded by the DYCD, the different programs, and so on. So if anyone's interested in applying or joining, get a brochure and do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Roxanne Delgado, the Friends of Palm Parkway.
Well, hi. Hello? This is a follow-up to our email. For the record, I am extremely disappointed at Committee Board 11. Is this on?
Yes,
Right.
it is.
Did not hold any public hearing on fiscal year 20 priorities and statements mandated by the city charter. I have seen other committee boards post their hearings on their process, yet none was posted by Committee Board 11. This is a disservice to the whole community that was not allowed to participate, nor have any input on the district needs. A hearing which isn't only mandated by city charter, but is necessary for the committee board to identify the wants and needs of this district. And it creates support for the committee board recommendation as well as participation in the city council hearing in support of those recommendations. When you have a public hearing, you not only engage the community, but you also gain support and assistance for those recommendations made by the community, not just a handful of committee board members. As a person who has little faith in our government, I can't help but feel that this was more than an oversight, but instead a means to circumvent the people in the process. And I call the Committee Board 11 to have this public meeting held as mandated by city charter, please.
Hey, any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
K11.
If that's true, and we are required to have a public hearing, then we should have a public hearing.
Thank you.
And we should have it as soon as possible.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you.
I agree. Any other questions? You have a question, Andrea?
If it is mandated by city, as she says, why wasn't it done?
Great question. I will make sure the budget chair knows that we have to step on as soon as possible. I did consult with the borough president's office, and yeah, we do. So I will talk to Dr. Giselle. That is the second question. All right? So thank you very much, Roxanne.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have two more. Raphael Schweitzer, Fox Park East Community Association.
Make it quick. First off, congratulations to Deputy Inspector Keith Walton on being cleared of all charges after 23 long months. Second, I would like to request that Community Board 11 and elected officials that are here request a crossing guard in front of PS 89 at Mace and Paulding Avenue. I will be sending the video to CB11 and the electeds
Of
Hello?
Of the
Principal having to direct traffic every day at dismissal. Every day, Principal Ralph Martinez is out there putting his body on the line, directing traffic in front of the school. There's school buses, traffic, heavy vehicular traffic, lots of pedestrians. That intersection is by Deli Grocery, which the students and staff go to a lot. So I will be sending that out. I realize the 49th precinct is properly booked when it comes to crossing guards, but if we could make an effort on the citywide level to allocate more crossing guards to each precinct, that would be great. Thank you.
That's PS 89. Any questions? Once, twice, thank you very much, Raphael. And last but not least, Joanne Esposito.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here and having this community board meeting. I have a tutoring business, Miss Junker's Tutoring. I use my name Joanne Esposito because that was I have different names. And Janka Saborovic is my married name. I'm here to talk about gun violence because our government has the vices as the head, the feds. Firearm, alcohol, and tobacco. Many of you don't know, but on Lady Liberty's book it says time is the witness to truth. This country is a people power. That's why we're here tonight. And the elections are supposed to be a popular vote, not with electricity. You need another committee on telepathy and electronics. I'm going to be brief. April 28th, 2004, I was hired as a full-time teacher at Maestro's. And I used to work for New York State Court, which was New York City. My paycheck said New Rochelle City Court, and then it became New York State because I took the police test, and my neighbor stole the mail, becoming a cop in 1974. There you go. And she robbed my house. April 28th, when I became a teacher, that same day, using my file number, a social service case was made, putting on a $200,000 one-shot deal. Many of you don't know that I was a baby star with the world. Many babies from around the world, because babies don't get paid. And that was securing the new data system, which became public in the 50s. And my question is, how do we protect children? Because it takes a country to raise a child. And they put my picture in a magazine because they thought I forgot I was a baby, because I had to wait for the right time.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions?
Yeah, my question is, who's going to be accountable?
That's it. Okay. Any board members, questions?
I really didn't have a question. I wanted to make a
That will
statement.
You're done. End the gallery session.
And I do tutoring.
So we will, that's the end of the gallery session. We do have a couple of esteemed officials with us. Let's start with our council member, Mark Jonai. He's deferring to Assembly Member Hernandez.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Happy to be here tonight. This is my first meeting of the new year. So I just wanted to greet faces again, welcome new board members, and wish off this year to be a good one. Any updates that I have in my office? I do want to thank Raphael. I was informed about the crossing guard, and I'm supportive of it because I've seen that myself, not just in your video, but it's very crowded. As well as, let's see, I've been pretty active, I guess, if you guys have followed me or not. But regarding the MTA train stops, that's something I too am supportive of. I've gone to a hearing. I've written letters to the MTA. I would have gone this Wednesday to their hearing, but I got jury duty. So I've been in the courthouse since Wednesday. But yeah, Morris Park, I believe, and all the stations need those trains. Amtrak needs to do their part and pay, or not really, just fix the train tracks. Because Amtrak, they don't want to do anything. We're trying to get our trains on there to bring these new stops to the Bronx. I was here Monday evening for those that were here for Councilman Jonah's public safety meeting, so thank you for putting that together and for having me. And I guess for Saturday, we're having a Halloween party. I believe that's been seen at PS 105 from 2 to 5 in conjunction with the Allerton International Merchants, Pelham Park Neighborhood Association, the White Plains Road Bid, and Councilman Jonah and myself. So if you like candy, trick-or-treating, costumes, all that, please come by Saturday. And I think that's about it, my little report. But again, I'm happy to be here, and my door and office is always open. Thank you. 2 to 5.
All right, any questions? No, maybe we can turn that back over to the council member.
Thank you there. Now, this is where city and state don't agree about Metro North. The state certainly has the money. Our people and our New Yorkers don't really care who fixes it as long as it gets repaired. So we're not here to squabble. The budget is there from the state. Let's get it fixed. And certainly the city will be able to assist in its fair share. So I just want to thank everyone for Monday night that participated at our safety hearing meeting. I was unfortunately at my own hearing in City Hall, which was a historic meeting, 8.5 hours long. I did not get out till 9:30, and I missed the very important safety committee meeting. But fortunate, I had Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez there who could fill in. Both community boards, 10 and 11 participated. Both precincts, the 4-5, the 4-9. The district attorney was present, and the administrative law judge Torres was present, as well as every civic association in both community boards was invited. And this was all ignited because of a predator who's been committing crimes, petty larceny crimes throughout our community for quite some time. It was finally rearrested, and this is giving credit to those that deserve it, and that is the men and women in blue, who continue to arrest these criminals, but the revolving door broken court system puts them back out on the street. The man had 50 prior arrests. And for those of you that are not aware of this case, he walks into a store, in particular a pharmacy, with a garbage bag, clears out a shelf, walks right out. 50 priors. I could imagine the hundreds of crimes that he's committed, he's gotten away with. And he was out before the police could finish the paperwork.
Wow.
And when he's back into our streets, and I believe, but I'm not sure, and maybe the deputy inspector can elaborate, since then, he was arrested 2 more times, is my understanding. Deputy, is that correct? So now he's up to 53 arrests, and the revolving door is allowing this individual to create a havoc in our community. And that's why Monday's public safety hearing was so important. It'll also kick off the next steps, and we're not looking to incarcerate everyone. We're not looking for mass incarcerations. But at some point, we have to say we have a bad apple.
She was there Monday.
And he should be, or she should remain behind bars where perhaps they can get the mental health treatment and programs that are needed, or if it's drug abuse, and if none of those are the issues, then keeping them off our streets is a priority. And the community has to realize we have to force our judges and district attorneys to enforce the laws that are currently on the books. If the crime calls for no more than 1 year, then we should be asking for the maximum. And in the following days and weeks, we'll be putting together a platform with the community alongside of the civic associations. We'll work together to make the statement and ultimately take back our streets and fight for those that don't have a voice. And in particular, we're going to target those that are selling drugs in our community, and it's not because of lack of enforcement from the 4-9 or from the 4-5. It's for a slew of other reasons that we can't get rid of these known drug dealers. And I just want to prioritize. We lose more children from drug overdoses than car accidents, gun violence, and suicides combined. And we have a great partnership with the NYPD. We just have to start putting pressure on those that are poisoning our community, killing and destroying families. On a lighter note, Veterans Day is around the corner. We'll be having a Veterans Day parade on Frog's Neck. On the 18th, we'll be continuing the Veterans Day breakfast. I encourage all of those that have served or have family members that have served, please attend. You contact my office so we make sure that we RSVP. We don't just want to recognize the individuals that served. We can't forget that those family members served alongside. And we recognize them also. It'll be open to all. The sooner you RSVP, the sooner we'll be able to secure the proper seating. I have a newsletter that I encourage all to sign up for. It's more informational than anything else. It provides civic associated meetings, but it also shows the work that I'm doing. You should hold your elected officials accountable, know what they're doing and when they're doing it, as well as surveys, and it also provides 311 calls, so you know exactly what's impacting our community. It helps me focus, and it also allows for the constituents to voice their concerns. I heard your concerns. One of them that has come up repeatedly is those that refuse to follow leash and curb and clean up after their dogs. So I came up with signs for you. I have them here with us tonight. You can pick them up, and if you need more, you contact my office, and you'll fix them to your gates, and hopefully those violators will get the message. I also heard your complaints about illegally parked cars that continue to park in driveways and whatnot. So I provided stickers for you. Say you are illegally parked, no parking, be courteous to your neighbors, avoid creating emergencies. I want to make sure you understand how these get placed. Not on the front window where it could block the view of the driver, create an accident. Not on the side windows, not on the car body, the paint, not on the rear window where the person can't see out, but on the back seat windows. And because they're typically your neighbors, folks, please don't